Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we continue talking with Kevin Thielen from Kansas Beef Council about Beef Month. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean talks to us about sustainability, and Farm Bureau updates us on this year's wheat tour. And in News You Need to Know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org. Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The president of United Farm Workers of America says rural communities have faced increased immigration enforcement under this new administration. Bruce Goldstein with advocacy group Farm Workers Justice says fear among farm workers and their families is escalating. In response, legislation has been introduced in the U.S. Senate that would help undocumented farm workers earn legal status. A similar bill is expected soon in the U.S. House. President Trump also promised farmers during a roundtable discussion last month protection should be granted to farm workers as part of immigration reform. A USDA NASS report on farm labor in the Northern Plains region, which includes Nebraska, Kansas, and the Dakotas, shows the number of hired workers on farms and ranches in April of this year was down 6% from 2016. The number of farm workers in the 4 states totaled 32,000. Farm operations in the region paid their hired workers an average wage of just over $14 per hour, this year up slightly from last year. Nationwide, the number of farm workers was down 4% year to year in April. A coalition of rural organizations are calling on leaders of the U.S. House and Senate Ag Committee to stop rural development reorganization within the USDA. Last week, Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue announced USDA's Undersecretary for Rural Development would be replaced with a special assistant who reports directly to Perdue. National Farm Union's Rob LaRue says rural development needs would lose a seat at the table during departmental discussions. If you're not in the room, it's really difficult to have your views and needs known. Rural development programs were heavily targeted in President Trump's budget proposal. And in local news, during the next several weeks, USDA's NASS will conduct 2 major mid-year surveys, the June Agricultural Survey and the June Area Survey. NASS will survey over 5,300 operators across Kansas to determine crop production and supply levels in 2017. Due to the widespread and significant impact of its results, the agency says those 2 are the most important surveys that NASS conducts. Milk production in Kansas during April of 2017 totaled 299 million pounds, up 7% from April of 2016. The average number of milk cows was 153,000 head, 9,000 head more than April of 2016. Milk production per cow averaged 1,955 pounds. K-State swine scientist Mike Tokash says advances in how pigs are raised have led to enormous improvements in pork production over the last 20 years. Research has allowed the swine industry to safely increase litter size and growth rates of finishing pigs. Tokash says that in the 1990s, the average litter was 7 to 10 pigs, and now you have lots of farms that are weaning over 15 pigs per litter. He believes advances in genetics, artificial insemination, and feed nutrition are key factors in the success of the swine industry. Up next in our Ag Feature, we continue talking with Kevin Thielen from Kansas Beef Council about Beef Month. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We've spent the last week here at the Kansas Beef Council with Kevin.
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. They're going to kick me out here in a minute. So we're finishing up May. This is the last weekend of May, and we're going to finish out Beef Month here with Kevin Thielen. Thanks for staying with us. Last week we talked just about the face of what beef looks like here in the state of Kansas, or beef production looks like here in the state of Kansas. Family-owned, family-operated, stewards of the land. We're going to go a little bit deeper. So let's talk about something that is extremely important to consumers. You know it is, producers know it is, BQA.
Yep. So BQA, and producers probably remember that it got its start from basically kind of the injection sites, carcass bruising and things of that nature. And that's still a very big focal point, but what we have seen is the industry has made dramatic improvements, and those aren't, I'm going to use the word issues. Those really aren't issues for us this day and age. So the BQA program has really morphed into, animal handling, euthanasia, advice on antibiotics and all of those things. And so we've been very lucky because we have Dan Thompson, we have K-State that helps us with a lot of those BQA trainings. And we, at beginning of this year, January, February, and March, we did trainings all over the state of Kansas and ended up training about 700 producers. And so we've got a really strong base of producers here that go through that program. And for us then, if you flip that coin, we then share that with consumers that we reach out to. And that continuous improvement, or a farmer or rancher going through a program to be a better handler, that really resonates really well. And I think that's a powerful message, and BQA is going to continue to become more important, I think.
And I think one of the things that we forget about, or at least I forget about, I know you don't, is having BCI, 44 miles away, and the impact it has on the state, not only the state, but the U.S. just in general. But it's nice to have that in your backyard.
It is, yeah, yep.
So BQA, and some of you may understand what BQA is, and some of you may not know what BQA is, but it is basically gentle handling, maintaining your herd, in a humane way, I guess may be a good way to put it. Not that anybody would want to treat an animal poorly, but you get better results with the better you treat your animals, and I think most producers understand that. What is the takeaway that most of the producers get out of BQA?
I think when you go to those sessions and you just see that interaction, I think it's having that face-to-face time with a vet, the ability to answer questions of, hey, this is what we do, is it right? What would you recommend? Or honestly asking other producers. And so we typically hold these sessions at auction markets, and it's just a great environment to have. Can just kind of have a discussion about animal handling and all the things that go with that.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things going on here in the state of Kansas with the Kansas Beef Council. You watch the Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org. Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the Kansas Beef Council, and we're joined by Kevin Thielen, the Executive Director, and we're finishing out. This is the last little bit of time we're going to spend together for May being Beef Month. And Kevin, it is a busy time of the year. People start dragging out their grills, so a lot of hamburgers being grilled, steaks and things like that. But getting out, touching consumers or talking to consumers, not only in person but on social media, is very important to you guys.
It is, and from a consumer standpoint, for us as producers, it's Beef Month. And there's history there. We really focus a lot on Burger Month or grilling, the start of grilling season, and that's what resonates with consumers. And we've seen tremendous growth in the last year on our social properties. I think a lot of the reason for that is we've hired a communications director, a guy by the name of Scott Stebner. And Scott has a master's in communications. In another life, he is a professional photographer, so that lends itself really well to a lot of the things we're doing. But we're really we have basically three areas that we focus on. One is the culinary, so teaching people how to cook. So we do a lot of recipes and disseminate information that way. Second is on nutrition, talking about nutrition, and we have a team beef, if you will, that goes out and runs, and basically it's a great way to promote the health benefits of beef. Scott promotes that. And then that third piece that we really talk about a lot is just production and how beef is raised. And so some of the things that we've seen some success in, Brian, is Scott did a short little 1.5-minute video on controlled burning. Of course, that's a big part of the Flint Hills here in Kansas, and we saw over 300,000 people that watched that video. So tremendous reach of that, and we see that in a lot of the things that we do. It's a great way to get in front of consumers. Yeah,
well, not only that, but not every consumer has the time to drive to the Flint Hills. Say you live in Wichita or somewhere. Of course, they burn down in that area also as well. But drive out and watch the burn. And first of all, it's beautiful. If you've never seen a burn at night in the Flint Hills, it's gorgeous. But understanding the impact what that does to the grasslands here in the state of Kansas. Continue to grow social media, I would imagine, is extremely important to you. Very important. That's a way for us to get in front of that young millennial consumer, which is our target. That's that person that's really starting out in their career, starting out with their family, so they're kind of starting to get some discretionary dollars. Some discretionary dollars, so right. a great opportunity for us to get in front of them. But what we know is that they are a little uncomfortable sometimes with cooking beef, and so that's something that we try to help them with. And kind of along those lines, we have a tour coming up that Charla Huseman, who's our director of marketing, does. It's a gate to plate tour, but it targets chefs. And if you think about typically trends that move over to general consumers start over there in that food service or culinary world. And so the first part of June, Charlotte's got a tour coming up that's a gate to plate tour, and just shows every aspect of the beef industry. And the cool thing that we've seen in years past, Brian, is we'll get all done with the tour and we'll be driving out of a feed yard in western Kansas, and they'll say, when are we going to see the animals that are confined? Mm-hmm. And Charla, has such a great personality, and she'll say, "Well, you just did." Right. But it's that misperception that we deal with as producers, and so it's a great opportunity for us.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
Sustainability may be a word you're hearing more these days, but that doesn't mean it's a new concept. Farmers have been incorporating sustainable practices into their enterprises for years. Even so, the word sustainable and its many variations conjure up different ideas and emotions among farmers. Some believe sustainability requires drastic change. Some think it will take major investments. And others see sustainability as just a fad. While there's no single version of sustainability, it is achievable, worthwhile, and here to stay. Customers of U.S. soy are growing more concerned about the sustainability of the products they buy. The U.S. Soy family introduced the U.S. Soybean Sustainability Assurance Protocol to demonstrate the sustainability of U.S. soy to international and domestic customers. The U.S. Soybean Export Council led the development of the SSAP in 2013 to help U.S. farmers demonstrate their commitments to sustainability and continuous improvement. With third-party certification, the protocol verifies that U.S. soy is sustainably produced and aims to meet growing consumer demand for environmentally, socially, and economically produced commodities. The methodologies for measuring sustainable performance are thorough and transparent based on federal agriculture data. Learn more at ussoy.org on the web.
On May 2nd and 3rd, I participated in the Wheat Quality Council's 2017 Hard Winter Wheat Tour, which provides both an up-close look at the crop and the chance to interact with 70 to 90 other representatives from all aspects of the wheat industry, from growers to bakers. Now, tour estimates shouldn't be confused with estimates coming from USDA NASS, the National Agricultural Statistics Service. The Wheat Quality Council tour is very informal. NASS estimates, on the other hand, are based on a combination of farmer surveys and nearly 1,000 randomly selected objective yield plots where trained enumerators take crop measurements. This year's tour was interesting because on top of the normal disease pressures, including leaf and stripe rust, wheat streak mosaic, and several others, it followed two frost events in north central Kansas and the recent blizzard that hit the western third of the state. First, the numbers. On May 2nd, the tour left Manhattan and traveled east to Colby. The day one average for 18 cars on 6 different routes was 43 bushels per acre, down from last year's 47.1 and equal to the 5-year average. On May 3, the cars traveled south and then east to Wichita, yielding an average of 46.9 bushels per acre, down from the 49.3 bushels of last year, but nearly 8 bushels over the 5-year average. Based on our counts, wheat yield potential for Kansas is good, and moisture was plentiful. Unfortunately, it was too early to see the extent of freeze and snow damage. Since the tour, temperatures have risen, the snow is gone, and farmers can better see if their downed wheat will recover and if the freezing temperatures did significant damage. So while the tour was educational, we may have to wait until USDA's June estimate before we really know much about the Kansas wheat crop.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business, providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. a knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Beef producers from across the state participating in this year's KLA Young Stockman's Academy gathered in the Kansas City area earlier this month. The class of 20 spent 3 days learning more about the agribusiness and retail beef industries. Merck Animal Health, the exclusive sponsor of the program, gave attendees an overview of the animal health industry, provided a tour of the research farm, and led a discussion on how to connect with others based on various personality types to create strong and effective relationships. To gain a better understanding of the link between the processing plant and the consumer's plate, the group toured Kansas City Steak Company and Cisco Food Services. Both companies distribute high-end beef cuts to restaurants across the United States. The class visited Bicklemeyer Meats, Whole Foods Market, and Sprouts Farmers Market to get a first-hand look at how beef is marketed in the meat case. While distributing top sirloin samples at 2 Hy-Vee grocery store locations, YSA members visited with customers about how beef is produced. The young ranchers answered questions about animal health, beef nutrition, and proper cooking methods. In addition, YSA members heard from staff at Bartlett & Company about how they use strict risk management practices when buying and selling cattle and grain. The class will meet again in October to tour Kansas beef and dairy operations.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. It's been a bit of a challenging planting season so far as weather has continued to give us regular doses of moisture. However, despite all of this, we're still running at our 5-year average for both corn and soybeans. The hope for a rally due to planting delays seems to be fading away, and we're going to need a different headline to trade. One such headline could possibly be world macroeconomic concerns. Although these headlines can be negative as well as positive. This wasn't any more evident than the recent news from Brazil regarding their political corruption issues that sent our grains on a quick move lower last week. That news quickly devalued the Brazilian currency, making them much more competitive on the world market. At least that was the perception, and it caused a quick reaction on our grain markets. One small bit of good news in regards to our own political dysfunction here at home is that it's caused the US dollar to work lower. As we've said before, this is good for our competitiveness in regards to exports, and even our red-headed stepchild, wheat, has actually seen an uptick in world sales. A weakening dollar may give us the room we need going into our June-July timeframe to trade any bullish weather headlines, if they arrive. Perhaps then we can see that push we've been hoping for. Just be prepared. Ultimately, we have a lot of acres and a proven ability to grow grain even in difficult conditions. Quick rallies to profitable prices need to be taken advantage of, and they may not last long, at least if the last 2 years are any guideline. If you have any questions on markets, we'd like to help. Call Paragon today at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org. Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.